Lucy Mwaura.
It is at this apartment in Kiambu County where Mary Mwende met her death after being stabbed on the 7th of August 2026. The incident that has left many in shock is said to have been committed by her partner, Dennis Masoba Nyambane, a surgeon at Kiambu Level 5 Hospital, and the man she met in 2021. According to Mwende's family, the couple that had a 3-year-old son had been going through a rough patch. Mwende had expressed her intentions to leave her marriage.
Aliandika hivi, "Hi mom, I told him that I want to walk out of this marriage. I'm emotionally and physically worn out. I feel like I've reached my limit."
The family described Mwende as a calm lady while accusing her husband of being a lover of the bottle.
Alikuwa kila wakati anaenda anakunywa pombe kulingana na ripoti ya huyu mtoto. Akikuja usiku wa manane, anaanza kumpigia kelele, anaanza kumpiga, wanapigana. Wakati mwingine anaenda anakaa nje siku 3, wiki mzima.
The family now wants justice, even as they question the credibility of the mental assessment on the suspect at Kiambu Level 5 Hospital where he worked.
Hao ni colleagues wake, how am I sure? Naweza nikakuwa sure aje kwamba tutapewa justice. Angeenda fanywe mahali kwingine ambapo hajulikani kabisa.
An autopsy conducted at Kenyatta Teaching and Referral Hospital revealed that Mwende died as a result of severe blood loss due to a penetrating sharp force trauma to the chest.
Chenye ningeomba ni serikali itufanyie haki. Yeye alikuwa mtoto mzuri. Tumelelewa naye pamoja, tumegrow naye pamoja. Na hakuwa mtoto mbaya na hakuwa anasumbua.
Tunalia, tunasikia uchungu. Tunasema serikali tupatie haki, tupate haki ya mtoto wetu.
Nancy Okware, Private Edition.
Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is calling for the suspension of the affordable housing levy, a review of taxes and changes to the petroleum pricing framework, arguing that the measures would give Kenyans more disposable income.
But the remarks have drawn a sharp response from Kenya Kwanza lawmakers who accuse Gachagua of making unsubstantiated allegations and seeking political relevance through a tax on the government.
Here is that report.
Gachagua claims the government needs to rethink some of its key economic policies, particularly those that directly affect household incomes. He wants the affordable housing levy suspended, while taxes and the petroleum pricing to be revoked to ease the pressure on Kenyans.
As the party leader of DCP, this government to cushion the payslip, the affordable housing levy, and reducing this together with the review of petroleum taxes charged will give Kenyans a punitive and unpredictable tax principal causes of the high cost.
We also questioned the management of public resources, raising concerns over development loans and the absorption of funds allocated for various government projects.
On the affordable housing program, no reports that have flagged major legal and operational risks regarding including untraceable international development loans and missing land ownership documentation for ongoing projects. Deducted from Kenyan payslips in a third-party financial service firm licensed by the capital market. How are their fees determined? How much?
But his remarks were quickly dismissed by led by National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, who accused the former deputy president of making reckless and unsubstantiated claims.
The dishonored Rigathi is playing very petty politics with the country's security and its agencies. He has made numerous wild and frivolous allegations without proof.
When Baba died and he was being buried in Bondo, all the leadership of this country, both in government and in opposition, were present. Did you see anyone looking like Rigathi Gachagua there? No. Up to today, he has not even gone to the family of Raila to tell them pole.
The lawmakers instead defended the government's economic record, saying the economy is now growing at about 5%. that the government programs are improving the lives of ordinary Kenyans. They pointed to initiatives including the Social Health Authority, the Affordable Housing Program, and the Kazi Maju Program as some of the administration's achievements.
Moving on, minority communities in Laikipia County have thrown their weight behind President William Ruto's administration and his bid for a second term in office.
They have, however, called for greater recognition, equal representation, and inclusive development.
Here now is that report.
Tunasema kama jamii ya Laikipia.
Leaders drawn from minority communities, including Pokot, Yaku, Wakeyo, Enderois, and members of the Kamatusa group, to unite in pursuit of their constitutional rights and ensure their voices are heard in governance.
Siasa Laikipia, sisi tunataka umoja na tunataka haki katika jamii yote wakati wanafanya kila kitu katika serikali ya Laikipia County. Napaka juu, sisi tumesaulika kwa muda mrefu. Tunataka tujulikane ya kwamba tuko. Lakini sisi hatupingi mtu yeyote.
Isiwe tu mambo moja ni majority wins na majority inabeba mambo yote. Wanabeba mambo ya majority na pia hao majority wanabeba mambo ya minorities.
They reaffirmed their backing for President William Ruto's leadership, saying they support his bid to serve for a second term.
Wale wanaongea mbaya kwa Kenya hii ambayo Mungu alitupea tukiwa kabla 47, hakuna mtu mmoja anaweza kuja kuvunja ati yeye ndio muhimu kuliko wengine.
Tumefanya declaration ya kuwa tutasonga mbele sisi sote kuhakikisha kuwa serikali ya kesho sisi ndio tunaenda kuitengeneza.
These as youth in Busia County were urged to shun political violence and embrace peace as Kenya prepares for the next general election.
Tunajua kwa muda mrefu tumekuwa na changamoto ya gunzi hapa Busia na vijana wamejitokeza kupitia siasa place. Tunasema kwamba wakati umefika, tunaambia wanasiasa wetu kwamba vijana wasitumiwe kwa sababu ya kuleta political violence.
Led by youth leaders David Katindi, Bashir Were, Austin Juma, and Oscar Tore, they challenge politicians to stop exploiting young people for political expediency.
Hapa Busia ndo kulikuwa na vikundi vya vijana, wengine wanasanya ushuru, wengine wanasema kabla weke mkutano hapa lazima walipe, wengine wanasema wako na seli yao private ya kuhold watu.
Kuepukana na maneno ya gunism na kuepukana na zile maneno uchafu ama mambo mbaya yenye inaweza gonganisha jamii yetu ili tusipata amani.
Meanwhile, Ida Odinga, the widow of former Prime Minister, met members of the National Liberal Party for a consultative forum.
Kitui County government has admitted headwinds in recovering 155 million shillings loaned out to vulnerable groups during the 2022 elections period without collateral.
Appearing before the County Public Investment Committee, Kitui Governor Julius Malombe told senators that monies issued were not recovered by the insurance policy but was acquired as per the legal requirements.
Gishuki Washira compiled these reports.
In 2022, Kitui County government, then under the leadership of Charity Ngilu, established an empowerment fund for vulnerable groups, disbursing at least 160 million shillings as loans. But the regulations passed by the County Assembly then allowed groups applying for 200,000 shillings to access the loans without security.
That the evidence that I shall give before this committee.
Appearing before the Senate County Public Investment Committee to respond to audit queries, Kitui Governor Julius Malombe admitted the impossibility of recovering the money.
I can tell you the county government has put money and put teams to go and talk to those people, including our sub-county, ward and village administrators, and getting this money repaid is almost impossible, if not.
Out of the 160 million shillings disbursed, only 5 million shillings has been recovered. The senators questioned the import of developing regulations that allow 200,000 shillings to be loaned out without a collateral.
So, is that all? You just send a text, bulk SMS? Is that proof enough that you're making effort towards getting that money?
You can imagine that amount advanced less than 200K, amounting to 150 million. You are now asking for write-off. Really?
The Office of the Auditor General has now against endorsing the county's proposal to write off the debt before ascertaining that the funds were not lost through fraud. The senators now want counties to review the funds and give the money through financial institutions to enhance recoverability. Gishuki Washira, Prime Edition.
Well, it's exactly 12 minutes past the top of the hour. You're watching Prime Edition. But coming up on the program,
we'll be taking you to the courts with the detail and clarity you deserve, and also still do more politics.
That's right, and we will be bringing you business and also sports at the tail end. Stay with us.
Many workers access their retirement benefits when switching jobs, unaware of the impact it has on their future. Taking out your retirement savings too soon reduces the income you will have when you retire, leaving your future less secure. Have you thought about the lifestyle or income you want to retire with? The earlier you start saving, the better. And the more you save, the more secure your future will be. Increase your savings today and live your golden years the way you've always dreamed. For more information, visit our website www.rba.go.ke, call our toll-free line 0800-720-300 or email info@rba.go.ke. Secure your future. Secure your peace of mind. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
At JKU Act, we have always been guided by our vision to be a university of global excellence in training, research, innovation, and entrepreneurship for sustainable development. Our faculty and students continue to excel with recognitions in computer science, engineering, material science, and medicine, law, among others. We lead Kenyan universities in intellectual property assets. To the class of August 2026, go forth and shine. Congratulations once again.
Abigail Kim, a striker based in Turkey. He is being given instructions. That's nice. Katseri in behind for Malawi. Oh, it's dreamland for the Scorchers, who lead Ghana. 50 minutes to go. Malawi sensationally are just over 10 minutes away from not just reaching the semi-finals of their very first ever Women's Africa Cup of Nations. They're making it through to the women 153rd in the world.
Welcome back to Prime Edition, our socials.
At KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook and YouTube. On to other developments. The country's healthcare system continues to expand, with private players driving increased investment, innovation and access to care.
Pathcare Laboratories has opened its 68th branch in Nyahururu, that's in Laikipia County, as it seeks to complement government efforts in expanding access to affordable and also quality medical services.
The facility is expected to offer specialized laboratory tests closer to residents, reducing the need to travel long distances for healthcare services.
Now, the company's chief executive officer says that the facility will offer specialized tests at the grassroots level.
The Laikipia County Deputy Governor Ruben Kamuri urged more investors to establish healthcare facilities in the county and across the country, saying collaboration between government and private providers is key to achieving universal access to quality and affordable healthcare.
We believe that the policy frameworks around the public-private partnerships here in Laikipia County and in the national government are very, very welcome initiatives, because then they allow the private sector to complement. Our expansion logic is to condense geography, is to ensure that people don't have to travel long distances, and a conducive public-private policy partnership is a very good initiative to ensure that the real beneficiary is the people who need the services the most.
There's a lot we can collaborate on. One, on the quality management systems. Two, we can also collaborate on seamless flow of a referral system for the samples. Still continuous capacity building for our staff. For us to be able to succeed in healthcare, we need all partners. There is what Laikipia County has been able to do. We have like 92 facilities. Level 5, we have 3 facilities. Level 4, we have 7 facilities. 92 facilities in terms of dispensaries. That is not alone to cover for the 1 million people. We need more partners with even various specialties.
On to the health reform debate. The government says that fraud in health insurance is a major impediment to the progress made under the Social Health Authority and the country's universal health agenda.
Addressing a media town hall in Nairobi, Health Cabinet Secretary Eden Duale defended the ongoing reforms, saying they have helped SHA strengthen oversight, detect fraudulent activity and recover over 200 million shillings.
Joseph Wahungu reports.
2 years into the country's health reforms, the government says 32.2 million Kenyans are now registered under the Social Health Authority. But with the numbers, questions are being raised about the alleged continued charging of patients for services that are supposed to be free under primary health care.
Even in this financial year, government has put a budget of 19 billion to treat Kenyans who go to dispensaries, to health facilities, to some parts of Level 4. You charge a Kenyan, it's a criminal offense.
Health Authority CEO Dr. Masi Mwangangi singled out fraud as a major concern, with fingers pointing at SHA officers and health facilities as the main culprits.
Last week, we had one of the premier facilities, private facility that is probably the #1 facility in this country, come in to tell me that a lady who is a civil servant had brought her sister using her benefits and had admitted her sister. That's fraud by Kenyans.
SHA also faced tough questions on whether the contributory component of the scheme can remain financially sustainable, even as the government confirmed plans to enlist more contributors, especially workers in the informal sector. Based on the ongoing nurses and clinic.
Every issue around the healthcare workers and healthcare professionals is going to be resolved bit by bit, whether it is at the county level or the national level, because we do not have a patient for counties and a patient for the national level.
The ministry further gave an update on disease surveillance, warning that changing disease patterns and regional outbreaks continue to pose a threat. The forum was a precursor to the Kenya Health Summit scheduled for 18th and 19th of August. Joseph Wahungu for Premier.
Let's now take you to the counties. The government now says that the demarcation of a section of the Mau in the Mau Eastern Block seeks to protect critical areas of the water tower from human encroachment and destruction, and not to dispossess communities from their land.
The team leader of the demarcation exercise from the Directorate of Survey, Lawrence Ngetich, says that the exercise that resumed this morning, by the way, seeks to put boundaries and beacons to separate human settlements from protected areas.
Teresa Mtai, if you like, Tess Mtai, compiled this report.
The Mau Eastern Block demarcation exercise seeks to establish boundaries and beacons separating human settlements from the 35,301-hectare protected water catchment amid fears of evictions and conflict involving the Ogiek community. The Ogiek want the government to first implement the African Court ruling, awarding them 157.85 million shillings in compensation.
So wale watu wako na mashamba in between one pillar and another, hawajui mpaka ni wapi. Umeelewa hiyo? So tumekuja kusurvey sasa along that boundary ile tuliweka. Tutaweka beacons zingine in between. Kuonyesha so that ukiwa nje unajua uko wapi, uko nje.
In Teso North, more than 500 youth are set to benefit from a fully sponsored international course aimed at equipping them with practical skills for the digital economy. Teso North MP Oku Kaunya says the initiative will continue empowering young people with market-driven skills to access jobs and create businesses.
This particular program is going to be very useful for those who have completed in enabling them to get online jobs. It will also enable them to open opportunities for further advancement on that area of technology, ICT technology.
In Langas Ward in Uasin Gishu County, residents are said to benefit from more than 57 million shillings invested in road upgrades, electricity connections and street lighting. Langas Ward MCA Francis Mboya says residents will not pay connection fees, government allocating an additional 7 million shillings to support the electricity project.
Use 24 million. Now this one is 7.6. Hiyo inakuja pesa ngapi? Around 31 thereabout billion. Na tunaweza sema we have connected more than 600 people with electricity.
Finally, activities along the Migori-Isebania border highway have been disrupted following the further collapse of Migori Bridge. Residents are now using an alternative route that adds more than 13 kilometers to their journeys. Residents and traders are county government accusing it of failing to give adequate attention to the strategically important bridge which serves as a key link between Migori and
There was no casualty, there was no one who was hurt in the water pen yesterday night. But I want to ask our leaders to act swiftly on this road. This is a A1 road that is connecting us from Isebania, Migori to Nairobi.
For Prime Edition, I am Teresa Mutai.
Well, from the counties, we bring you back to Broadcasting House here along Harithuku Road for an interactive session. We are delighted to have in studio an advisor in government in the executive office of the president. A lot of people are talking about the proposed development plan, Vision 2060. We recently had the president, in fact, asking that the youth be at the center of that conversation. So I'm very delighted to have in studio Dr. Sylvester Kasuku, who's an advisor governance from the executive office of the president. Thank you, Daktari, for joining us.
Thank you very much, Tom, for hosting.
Now, Daktari, I want to start it this way because you are heavily involved in Vision 2030. And if you count with your fingers, it's now 18 years, and since we launched Vision 2030. Yes. So you're the right guy to ask, what's the status of implementation?
Thank you very much, Tom Mboya. Definitely Vision 2030 is something that Kenyans have interacted with largely.
Yeah.
And we will equally recall that as at the time when Vision 2030 was being formulated and launched in the year 2008, Kenya was actually Kenya had been undergoing a lot of economic turmoil.
Yeah.
We had close to 24 years of closure. We can say that Kenya was a closed economy then, and a lot of torment was, exhibited in the economy.
Yeah.
And when the first term of President Kibaki came on board, you remember we were dealing with what we were calling structural transformation of government, in which the economic strategy for for renewed growth was meant to now create that structural transformation in government, where a lot of reorganization was done in government. The creation of new institutions for delivery of development were actually undertaken. You can remember institutions like KenGen, the roads authorities, which we created in the year 2003, 2004, up to 2008 when we completed the assignment. And they were operational. You can remember the creation of the roads board. You can remember creation of many institutions were created for purposes of delivery. We also undertook policy development. You will recall that we drafted the Integrated National Transport Policy in the year 2003, 2004, which therefore provided a policy framework or a policy platform for serious socioeconomic transformation led by infrastructural development in the transport and infrastructure sectors. You will recall that we also had the energy sector transformation. We had a number of institutions created, policies created, a number of frameworks were also developed for many other sectors. And that therefore showed that the country was trying to create a platform for growth. Then you will recall that as at that time, many parts of the country were very inaccessible. A lot of economic activities were actually primed on the corridor from Mombasa, passing through Nairobi, Nakuru, going towards Eldoret to Uganda, going towards Kisumu to both also to Uganda through Busia and also to Isebania. And then beyond that corridor, beyond 100 kilometers on either side of that particular corridor, or the corridor, actually there were no serious economic activities that you could talk about. So about 70% of the country was actually closed. And if anyone ever tried to be taken to that particular part of the country, either on public service transfer or even private sector activity, it was thought to be a kind of a punishment. In fact, public servants have always been paid hardship allowances whenever they are taken to these areas. Why? Because these areas are very remote, inaccessible, and many other things. So what I can say is that from there, if you look at the performance of Vision 2030 in terms of delivery, you can see that actually the country has opened up. You will see that we created the Lapset corridor with the deep waters port at Lamu Port. The Lamu Port is currently operational. And with the connections to South Sudan and Ethiopia through that corridor, which is going to carry more infrastructure beyond roads, that is including rail, pipelines, among many other things. But the road infrastructure is fast being delivered right now as we speak. You know that the road to South Sudan is fully developed up to the border. The road to Ethiopia is fully developed all to the way to the border. And actually Ethiopia has also undertaken, because Kenya has delivered about 500 kilometers on the road to Ethiopia, from Isiolo to Ethiopia, about 505 kilometers. Then Ethiopia has also delivered another 500 kilometers up to Hawassa. And from Hawassa to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia has also undertaken the development of a motorway, which is actually a 6-lane motorway, 3 lanes on either side.
On both sides.
We are taking advantage of what Kenya has developed on this side in terms of the port and the Lapset corridor, which is currently under development. And that has actually opened up the country. You can also quickly recall that President William Ruto also started the construction of the road from Isiolo coming all the way through Modagashe, Wajir, going to Mandera, and also Mandera going through those names that Kenyans were talking about, Kutulo and all that. That also crosses all the way back to Moyale. And all this have actually created a lot of opening up of the country. The road from Lamu to Garsen, the road from Emali Loitoktok was done. Roads, a number of roads that connect many parts of the country.
And you're right. And
even if you talk about the Thika Superhighway, the expressway, all this.
And all that. And I know we have 3.5 years to go before we come to the end of Vision 2030. And I'll be asking you, after this short break, why is Kenya therefore not a middle-class economy? That's the first question that you will tackle when you come back from the break. And of course, why is Kenya's economy not even growing at the rate of 10%? You'll give us the details of where perhaps we dropped the ball. Well, we're taking a short break. I'm with Dr. Sylvester Kasuku here, and we're looking at Beyond Vision 2030. We'll be back shortly. You don't want to leave.
Je, umehangaika miaka mingi kulipa rent kila mwezi? Ukalipa na bado inabidi ulipe tena. Na umechoka kulipa rent hiyo katika nyumba isiyo yako? Usijali, imagine sasa unaweza pata makao yako. Serikali imejenga affordable houses. Process ni rahisi. Una apply, unalipa deposit, unahamia, unalipa pole pole. Sasa kila Mkenya akona nafasi murwa ya kusema huku ni kwangu. Time ya ni time ya kumove in kwa keja yako. Your key, your house, your ili leo kwa mpango wa Affordable Housing Program na upate makao kwa jina lako. Tembelea tovuti yetu ya www.bomayangu.go.ke au fika site iliyo karibu nawe kote nchini. Pata makao na Boma Yangu.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya.
Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all.
We dive deep into issues shaping our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday.
We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health.
Someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
Each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about The Viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday. Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good morning, Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good Morning Kenya, every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
Things the wrong way.
Welcome back to Prime Edition. We're talking to Dr. Sylvester Kasuku, an advisor, governance executive office of the president. Before we went for a break, I had asked you to take stock of how much progress we had made. But perhaps even before you tackle that, is it, because we have 3.5 years to go before the end of Vision 2030. So is the current pursuit of Vision 2060, is it justifiable? Because we know there is a debate around whether, we should go to 2060 when we still have 2030 pending.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mboya. This is a very interesting subject. And we know that Kenya is a serious planning society from which many other countries have taken examples. But to come straight to that particular question, we do know that Vision 2030 is still in force and is still being implemented. And actually, where we are right now, we remember that we came all the way from 2008, and where we are right now, we are actually talking about completing the vision by 2030. And we know that preparation of this kind of visions require time. So if we really do not take time to prepare this particular vision in good time, while we are still having lead time for completion of Vision 2030, we will be time bad. And right now, we can actually complement the preparation of the next vision with the completion of the current vision by creating what we call an acceleration mode. So even the current medium-term plan 4, which ends in the year 2027, is actually like an acceleration medium-term plan. And so in taking lead time to prepare this, we also know that if we do not prepare the next vision right now, we'll actually create a vacuum. Why?
Also,
because our medium-term plans are 5-year plans. Currently, we have in force medium-term plan 4, which ends in 2027. So what do we therefore do, considering that up to the year 2030, we will be having a balance of 3 years, which will now be, if we were to prepare the next medium-term plan, it will be 2028 to 2032. Vision 2030 ends in 2030, which means the next 2 years after 2030 is in the next vision. So therefore, we cannot wait until Vision 2030 is over, because again, we will be time-bound. And then the medium-term plan 4 is ending in 2027, which means the next medium-term plan, or the next window of 5 years plan, must cater for part of the next vision. So we have to cure that to make sure that we plan in time. The next thing is that international best practice shows us, which also includes Kenya. Kenya is part of good international best practice, planning way ahead of time. And that's why it's called planning. And formulating policy is something that is founded on many principles. Number one, we need to undertake the correct policy preparation. And in Kenya, after the Constitution 2010, Article 10 of the Constitution requires public participation. And public participation, as you've seen, has become a key issue. And whenever any law or any policy is formulated without appropriate public participation, it becomes a court case.
And I know there's a process that's beginning tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yes, there's a process that begins tomorrow. But so now, just give me 1 minute. That public participation can only be given due time if we start early. And we need to deal with 47 counties. We need to deal with all areas of constituencies. We need to deal with even up to local levels, even up to sub-county levels, for proper public consultation. So in this endeavor, therefore, and also writing this document requires time. The other point, which is point number 4, is that we need data. So even if we will be doing public participation, we equally need data. And data systems must also be built through appropriate studies that are also in tandem with the new formulation or the formulation of the next vision. So we are also moving into a situation which is point number 5. We are having a paradigm shift from what we are calling the bottom-up economic transformation framework to the program in which we are now going to move towards what we call the first world. And that particular system involves a lot of other transformative mechanisms, like the AI and digital systems, among many others, industrialization, among many others. And that requires a lot of other works and the paradigm shift for us to move in the right direction. Just to close this.
Just to close that.
Just to close that. We also know that, and I just wanted to give you an example, that many other jurisdictions have actually undertaken similar planning, strategies that like the way we are using. I remember I was invited by the United Emirates government, the UAE. They invited me in the year 2017 to participate in the UAE 2071 master planning, as well as the UAE our UAE 2032. Which they were also prepared at that time. And by the way, the plan was going to start all the way in the year 2020, but by 2017, they were already finishing. They were finalizing the preparation of that master plan. Singapore, among many other countries, South Korea, talk about the UK, all these other many countries that we do take examples from, China, Japan, they always plan way ahead of time so that by the time it reaches the time for you to implement, you've already prepared, because there are also laws that will be required, like the planning law. We might need a national planning law to anchor economic planning in law, just like we have other laws that anchor other processes. So all these, including many policies that will also need to come in tandem with this.
But let me just ask you this.
Stage will require to be in place. We need time.
Let me just ask you, because you have given a very comprehensive outline.
Yes.
You see, there's a link between planning and outcomes.
Correct.
Okay?
Right.
And so I want to ask, before I move to my next question, are we a middle class based on what Vision 2030 had projected? And are we growing at 10%?
Now, Mboya, definitely we are in the middle level, but what do you call the lower middle level economy? But we are not growing at 10%, and we do equally know that we have done our best as a country, but we have had challenges. Yeah. Number one, when we started Vision 2030, by the time it came into office, by the time it came into force, we had many other structural issues to put in place. The kind of structural issues that I'm talking about now that needs to be put in good time were actually not done at that particular time, because Vision 2030 was the first clear vision to be put in place. And we were grappling with implementation at the same time, structuring many other processes that needed to deliver Vision 2030.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, while we picked up very well from, let's say, Kibaki 1, but we faced many other challenges along the way. What we have seen in the review of Vision 2030 is that the many projects that we wanted to deliver needed time to equally prepare. And one of the biggest shocks to the vision was that the bankability readiness, or what you call the readiness of bankable documents, already bankable projects, already prepared and ready for implementation or for uptake, even by private sector, were not readily available. And so we had to be grappling with preparing bankability documents or investable projects, at the same time implementing the vision. So that one gave a drawback a little bit.
Yeah.
The other bit is that financing was also a challenge to many Vision 2030 projects. And you do know that the government pass, or the public pass, can only finance much from the public, from taxes. So as such, you've seen the country going into a situation of looking for extra financing or prearranged financing through debt, among many other mechanisms.
Yeah.
And also trying to draft private sector participation into these areas of investments. The other thing is that the COVID-19 pandemic
was a disruption.
Struck us just like it struck the rest of the world in a bad way.
In a bad way. Let me ask.
And you can remember the economic growth dipped.
Decline, that's true.
Completely.
Absolutely.
And we had to again struggle as an economy to come out.
Nobody anticipated that. But let me just ask you, because you and I,
yes,
in the next 60 years, we might not be there.
We should not be planning for ourselves.
So, so the question is, how do we ensure that the youth, whatever the youth are going to recommend in the conversation that starts tomorrow, we don't just listen to them, but we actually factor it in the drafting process.
That is very true. And I want to put it here very clearly. I want to say it without using any other sugarcoating, that the youth are right at the center of the formulation process of the next vision, up to including tomorrow's conversation. The youth will be part and parcel of the panel that we'll be discussing. The youth are also taking a leading role in actually also driving public participation, which is meant to also to actually attract a lot of youth participation, so that ideas that come from the youth are equally integrated and actually become a key driver to the next vision formulation.
So as we wind up this conversation, tomorrow the conversation begins. What happens going forward after tomorrow, as your final comment?
Yes, tomorrow, some people are thinking that tomorrow we are going to launch Vision 26 or the next or beyond Vision 2030. No. Tomorrow is the commencement of the public forums, the public participation, the public conversation about the next vision, how it should be done, what needs to be contained in it, what are the prerequisites for achieving it. Now, for me to bring you quickly into focus is that as we are going into the next vision which is being seen to take Kenya to the first world status, we are definitely transiting from vision systems that are sector-based to vision systems that are ecosystem-based or that are value chain-based. And this therefore gives us a clear understanding of what the rest of the other first world have actually done or how they've carried out their transformation agenda. And when we look at the next vision, therefore, there are certain guiding principles that we are already seeing that are very clear for us to be able to format the thought processes that are going to come from the public. Number one, we are looking at how to focus the thought processes into system-based frameworks like the economic system or the economic framework,
as you wind down,
cities and spatial transformation systems,
yes,
the human capital systems,
yes,
the natural capital systems,
yes,
and the governance pillar systems.
Yes.
So all this will be able to guide us, and we are basing this,
yes,
on what Kenya should be by the year 2060. We know that we'll be over 100 million plus.
Yes.
What should be our job, our labor force capacity at that time? What will be the population? Like about 55 million or between 50 and 55 million.
Thank you.
And we should have jobs that equally match that.
Thank you.
And international best practices does indicate also that there are critical indicators that we must use, and we are right there.
I want to thank you, Daktari. I mean, we need to call you back again, Dr. Sylvester Kasuku. I want to thank you so much. Of course, the country will be watching, and we genuinely want Vision 2060 to be a living promise.
Correct.
For the future of this nation. Thank you so much again for finding time,
Asante sana,
Sylvester Kasuku.
The entire KBC team.
Asante sana from the Executive Office of the President. We're taking a short break. When we come back, we have the day's business, and also we'll be looking at the day's sports. Stay with us.
Activating continental football. KBC channel exclusive coverage of the 2020 Africa Cup of Nations from Sunday to Sunday the 16th of August 2026. Morocco is the Nigeria defend their title against fighting to lift the prestigious trophy. Crowned Queens of courtesy of the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. Watch all the action unraveling on KBC, your true sports partner.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first. You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
And a very good evening to you. Welcome to Prime Edition Business News. Let's talk the numbers that are running Kenya's economy. My name is Ndota Mokami. Now, rising solar and wind generation is creating new challenges in balancing electricity supply and demand, with fluctuations affecting power quality. Kenya Power is calling for increased investment in modern power systems to help stabilize electricity generation and distribution. Trevor Ngendo reports.
Significant progress in increasing renewable energy needs energy mix, particularly geothermal, solar, and for over 80% of the country's 3,243 megawatt installed capacity. The growing share of variable renewable energy also requires a stronger balancing mechanism to keep the grid stable, calling for faster investment in base load and fast ramping generation.
Because of the intermittency of variable renewable energy sources and the increased quantum in the grid, the need for this plant is imperative.
The energy distributor says account for about 20% of electricity generation in Kenya, with their contribution rising to as much as 34% during the. According to the utility, is that unlike solar and wind output, depending on weather conditions, forcing the grid to automatically disconnect some consumers in order to restore the balance between supply and demand.
And the variability, at worst, can cause a grid collapse. And at best, it can cause power quality challenges, which to someone just using power for lighting purposes may not appear like it's impacting in any way. But for the industry, which are so frequency sensitive, at times that variability might mean they have lost everything that was being manufactured on that particular day.
The utility is particularly looking to geothermal and hydropower, with Kenya estimated to have 9,000 megawatts and hydro potential of 1,200 megawatts, more than 4 times the current peak demand for 2,439 megawatts. Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition.
Thank you, Trevor, for that report. Plans are underway to establish the first green fund in Kenya to support businesses developing environmentally friendly solutions. Kenya Development Corporate Director General Nora Atemo says climate financing gap has been widening, with Kenya estimated to require 8.2 trillion shillings annually to address climate change. Kenya is stepping up efforts to mobilize financing for climate action, with development finance institutions being urged to invest more in green businesses and innovations. According to climate experts, Kenya loses between 3% and 5% of its gross domestic product to climate change, highlighting the growing economic cost of inaction. For Kenya, the annual financing requirement is estimated at 8.2 trillion shillings, but the National Treasury can currently mobilize only about 13% of the amount. 7% financing gap, increasing pressure on development finance institutions and other players to bridge the shortfall.
The Green Fund will be going towards supporting businesses, and we shall be investing equity in terms of greening businesses. My colleague has said tuko na jukumu in terms of being responsible, and now we are going to support responsible investments.
Ratemo says the funding will help address a long-standing challenge facing businesses with innovative ideas but limited access to capital. Additionally, environmentalists say climate change is increasingly influencing government policy, making investment in climate solutions urgent.
Kenya is now even shifting. There is a lot that is happening in that space. So it's important for all of us to look at going green and for us to also be responsible in terms of how we are carrying out our businesses.
The officials spoke in Nairobi during the launch of KDC's new products and services and its sustainability and green financing strategy.
And indeed, KBC must take that role to help de-risk businesses so that they can catalyze capital. And lastly, they must also show us the way towards the global standards, local requirements, and helping the government of Kenya to achieve its objectives, especially when it comes to the commitment about sustainable development and issues around climate change.
The Monetary Policy Committee has retained the central bank rate at 8.75%, citing stable inflation and improved economic activity. The decision comes as Kenya's economy continues to show signs of resilience, growing by 5.3% in the first quarter of 2026, up from 4.9% a year earlier. The committee says the current monetary policy stance remains appropriate to keep inflation expectations anchored within the target range and support exchange rate stability, although food prices remain elevated. Private sector credit growth also rose to 10.2% in July, pointing to improved access for financing for businesses as commercial bank rates lending decline. And in the agricultural front, the East African Farmers Federation is calling for a harmonized seed protocol to enhance cross-border trading. The federation's president, Elizabeth Nsimadala, warns that persistent non-tariff barriers are restricting the movement of agricultural goods across the Horn of Africa region and driving up food prices.
About 63 million people in the Horn of Africa region are facing hunger, budgets and funding for farming activities. Agriculture value chain players are calling on governments in the region to harmonize seed protocols to support cross-border movement of agricultural produce to bridge food deficits.
For example, across the region, Uganda has its own standards, and maybe Kenya or Tanzania have their own standards. How do we implement the one-stop border post, for example, across the region? I think those are some of the things that we really need to critically look at if we are to have proper policies in agriculture.
Sometimes even during trade, you find Kenya could reject maize from Uganda, and so on and so forth. These are serious issues that are impacting our farmers. It's high time we should be able to have products from one area going to another.
Nsimadala blames market access challenges to rising post-harvest losses that is also fueling the rise in food prices.
Imports that are coming in, we looked at the borders between Kenya and Tanzania, and also between Kenya and Uganda. And we realized that most of the products that are coming in are actually products that we can produce.
They want countries to create an emergency agriculture mitigating against shocks that disrupt food systems.
It's very, very critical that we build really strategic, even fund reserves, and be able to act quick, quick response to emergency.
We developed agri-food systems that are resilient and inclusive to support realization of Agenda 2063.
Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Business leaders across East Africa are calling on governments to enhance support for manufacturing, agro-processing, logistics and digital infrastructure to boost production and trade. East Africa Business Council Chief Executive Officer Ahmed Farah says governments should implement measures that can unlock investment, reduce trade costs and potentially double trade within the East African community over the next decade.
Intra-East African community trade currently stands at 90%, representing just 12.3% of total EAC trade.
Businesses face high operating costs. We face taxation, non-tariff barriers, differing standards, duplicated approvals, and definitely costly logistics.
Business leaders say trade within the East African community is being constrained by, among others, non-tariff barriers, high transport costs, fragmented cross-border payments, and delays at border points.
Agreements that are followed, we sign agreements, but they are not followed. But especially in areas of trade, and I think movement of labor, I think the agreements need to be adhered to, because if those agreements are adhered to, and and I always say, you can be East African community, let there be a framework for agreement of the willingness.
The private sector is particularly concerned about the 27 outstanding non-tariff barriers and multiple policies along the Northern Corridor, which increases the cost and time for moving cargo across borders.
Let us put trade finance alongside trade infrastructure. They are the two sides, same coin. If we want more intra-EAC trade, then more businesses must be able to finance growth. And if we want more extra EAC trade, then those businesses must be able to scale and compete internationally.
The business leaders called for a review of the common external tariff, arguing that the current regime can distort competition and undermine local manufacturing.
When this roundtable is completed, there can be a catalogue or a log of reforms that we must take forward as East Africa to really be able to scale business.
Regina Manyara reporting for KBC Channel 1.
And those were the stories that were setting the agenda tonight in the world of business. Many thanks for keeping us company. We're taking a quick break, but when we come back, Karen Kibet has the latest in the world of sports. And remember, WAFCON Iko KBC. Many thanks for keeping us company. My name is Ndota Mokami. Have yourselves a wonderful evening.
Welcome back to KBC Prime Edition. It's now time for us to take a look at all the stories making headlines in the world of sports. Now, the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, NOC, will put relevant measures in place to ensure the athletes who participated at the just concluded World Athletics Under-20 Championships in Oregon transition to compete at the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. This is according to the NOC's first Deputy President, Barnaba Korir, who was speaking in Oregon, United States, after the conclusion of the World Under-20 Championship.
Speaking in Oregon after the conclusion of the championships, NOC first deputy said the committee will work closely with the athletes and their receive the necessary support from junior to senior competition.
So with their managers or handlers, their teachers, their coaches, their parents, so that we also play a big role. We are not going to leave these athletes alone. We have already given instructions that all these athletes from different backgrounds, from different schools, we will follow them. We will also support them financially. The president of National Olympic Committee also came to watch. He has given also his input on how he is going to support this team.
The cautioned against rushing in of quick financial gains, with NOC urging them to prioritize their long-term careers and development.
Wawe monitored ndio wajue serikali AK wanajali hao mahali wanatrainia, ndio utakuta wataingia World Championship next year kati yao.
Finished second overall at the championships with 11 gold, 3 silver and 4 bronze medals.
Moving on, Kenya's chess community is grieving the sudden death of national team player Hawi Kaloki, who passed away on Monday morning, aged 19. Chess Kenya Federation confirmed the news in a statement issued by Federation President Andrew Owili on Monday evening, describing Kaloki's passing as a profound loss to his family, friends, teammates, and the wider chess fraternity. Kaloki was one of the most accomplished young players Kenya has produced. A multiple-time national champion, he rose to become the country's top-rated player in 2024, holding a rating above 2,100 and cementing his place among Kenya's elite. May his soul rest in peace. Now, Madison Life Assurance has entered into a long-term partnership with Kenyatta University's rugby club Blackbird in a deal that will see the insurer become the team's main sponsor. The partnership will support Blackbird's participation in the 2026 Kenya 7th Circuit as well as the Kenya Cup, providing a major boost to the university side as it seeks to strengthen its presence in the country's top rugby competitions. Blackbird finished 5th in the 2025-2026 Kenya Cup with 28 points from 11 matches, winning 6 and playoffs.
This is a long-term partnership. We are in the final stages of completing the legal paperwork, but the season of rugby started before we finished, so we said we will start by sponsoring them with jerseys, medical supplies and medical insurance for this season.
This season, ours was to win at least one of the legs in the circuit. And with the work that we put in during the break, the 1 week break that we had, and this sponsorship coming in time, I know that now Kaberi is the leg that we are going for.
Now, Visa Dolphins Swimming Club has stepped up preparations ahead of the upcoming Kenya Aquatics National Junior Swimming Championships set for this August in Nanyuki. The club is banking on a strong performance from its young swimmers, among them Nadia Washira, who will represent Visa Dolphins in 7 different events at the championships. Nadia has been putting in extra hours in training her technique, endurance and speed ahead of the competition. The National Championships is an official competition organized by Kenya as a platform for young swimmers from clubs in the country to compete in various and is essential for talent identity and development.
In our program, we're tailing it up according to each athlete's needs. Now, I can run it down for our priorities. We are building on principle, building in belief. We are definitely pushing each athlete to ensure that we're in a position to definitely perform. And number 2, I can pretty much guarantee you that we're working on an environment that nurtures the high performance training program.
And finally, in sports, Nyali Golf Club's Adel Tawfik Balala secured back-to-back titles on the Kenya Amateur Golf Championship circuit after winning the 2026 NCBA Karen Challenge at the Karen Country Club. Balala finished the 54-hole championship at level par 216, edging Nakuru Golf Club's John Kaimasi by 2 shots after 3 rounds of contrasting fortunes. Royal Nairobi Golf Club Mwathis Gisheru finished 3rd on 3 over par 219. The victory comes just a week after Balala won the Kenya Amateur Match Play Championship at Limuru Country Club, making the Karen Challenge his 2nd title in as many weeks on the circuit. And those are all.
Ladies first.
Thank you. Those are all the sports stories we had for you right here on KBC Prime Edition. And of course, tonight is not my night to wrap up the bulletin. I'm joined by my colleagues Muchuma, Irene, and Mboya. Tom, you had something to say.
No, I was just excited to see you. We've not been on the set for quite some time.
Oh, yes.
So you let me go on that one. We want to thank you so much on behalf of the Prime Edition team for making this channel your channel of choice. Until next week on Monday and Tuesday.
Yes.
Irene, Muchuma and I will be back same time, same place. Good night, I'm Mboya. Bye-bye.
Good night. Our sign language expert tonight is Lucy Moura.
Continental Football Extra. KBC Channel 1 brings you of the 2026 Women's African WAFCON. 26th of July to Sunday the 16th of August. Welcome to Morocco! Morocco is the battle to defend their title against 15 other nations for prestigious trophy. Who will be of African football? Courtesy Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports. Watch all the action unraveling on KBC Channel 1. Sports partner.